Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. So I'm proceeding ahead now with the marking criteria of the writing exam. What we discussed that in IELTS writing exam, total will be given the 60 minutes, two tasks we have to perform. The first task is of 20 minutes, summary writing for academics, letter writing for the GT students. And in summary writing, students have to write 150 words on a picture, and this can out on either of these what I mentioned here, graph 9-bar process, life cycle pie, or the maps. 33% marks out of 100% will be contributed by the task number one, summary or the letter. Task number two in the writing exam will be of 40 minutes. 250 words are required to be written on 5 different topics or any one out of 5 topics. The first is advantage, disadvantage, problem solution. The second one, agree, disagree, opinion, and 2 question essay. 66% marks will be contributed by this side, and the net formula for the band calculation is the summary marks plus essay marks divided by 3, and the band score will be from 0 to 9. 9 stands for the maximum, and the 0 stands for the minimum. So now, what is the next now that we need to discuss is the IELTS writing exam scoring, the IELTS writing exam evaluation marking. The good word would be marked. How the exam is marked. The IELTS writing exam is marked on 4 criteria. There are 4 marking criteria. There are 4 marking bases. There are 4 marking criteria on which the students are evaluated, and they are given the numbers. The first marking criteria on which the students are looked are, the first one is known as, let me change the color. The first criteria of evaluation is known as the grammatic range. The grammatic range or the grammar, the grammatic range and accuracy. The grammatic range and accuracy. So now, what is grammatical range or the grammatic range and accuracy? What does this mean? Examiner evaluates us on the basis of number 1, the grammar tenses. The grammar tenses, those we use in our writing. Examiner sees that how stronger we are in making use of the present. We talk about the present tense, and then he sees that in present tense, how stronger we are in simple, how strong we are in continuous, how strong we are in perfect, and how strong we are in the present perfect continuous tense while writing. Okay. So now the first tense that examiner looks into is the present tense. The second tense that examiner looks into is the past tense. And in the past tense, again, there are again 4 same conditions. Number 1, the past simple, and then the past continuous, and number 3 is the past perfect. Number 4 is the past perfect continuous, and then past perfect continuous, and then the next one continuous, and then the next one is again the future tense, and the future tense, in future tense, the fifth one. Again, in the future tense, examiner, future tense, and examiner sees that how stronger we are in making use of the simple future, and then the continuous, and then the perfect, and then the perfect continuous. Perfect continuous. Perfect continuous. Okay. So examiner sees that how good we are in making use of these all tenses while writing. He creates the condition in which the students are required to go for the write up in the present tense, somewhat somehow in the past tense, and sometimes they need to go for the future tense. More likely or more commonly, the present and the past tense are very well tested, and it is less likely to go in the future tense, but we are required to use it. So now the first thing the examiner looks into grammatic range, the grammatical range and the accuracy. The first thing that he looks into is the tenses, the grammar tenses, and the grip of the students on the grammar tenses. The second marking criteria and the second thing in the grammatic range and the accuracy, examiner looks in are grip upon the sentence structure, the sentence design. Sentence design. What do you mean by the sentence design? Examiner sees that whether we are able to make simple sentences well. What do you mean by the simple sentence? I like tea, full stop. Vera likes coffee, full stop. These all are known as small sentences followed by a full stop, and these are known as simple small sentences. Examiner looks into whether we are able to make compound sentences. What do you mean by the compound sentences? They are giving a sense or the explanation of two different conditions in one time. For example, Zeeshan likes tea, but Zeeshan likes tea while Hera likes coffee. Zeeshan likes tea while Hera likes coffee, followed by a full stop. So now we've worked on a bridge of while and we have written a lengthy, compound, bridged sentence with a single full stop. It is compound sentence. Examiner sees that how stronger we are in using or designing the complex sentences in some conditions. What do you mean by the complex sentences? Those are always with some condition. For example, Zeeshan likes tea while Hera likes coffee because he does not like the taste of tea. So we have created a condition here and we convert it from a compound to complex sentence. So examiner sees in our write-up how well we went in the simple sentence designing. Are we able to design the compound sentences, and somehow have we used any complex sentence for any specific condition or not? More likely, compound sentences gives us more marks, and to give us more marks in comparison to the simple sentences. If we are not making the complex sentences, that is even not a problem. So two things examiner remain very much concerned about when we talk about the grammatic range and accuracy. The first thing is, my dears, first thing is your grammar tenses, and the second thing that examiner looks into here is your grip upon the sentence design. Okay, so now I'm moving ahead to the second criteria. The second marking base is known as lexical resource. Lexical resource means dictionary resource. Lexical means dictionary. Okay, so lexical resource means dictionary resource. Simple words, in simple words, it means vocabulary. Vocabulary that we are writing in our write-up in the writing exam vocabulary. So what examiner sees here? Number one, the variety. The variety of words. Variety of words. Those we are using. Variety of words is using for the similar condition. For the similar condition. For an example, if there's an increase in trend given by the examiner, we have learned only a single word since the childhood. What is that? When something goes up, we use the word increase. Examiner sees that. Whether we were able to use increase synonyms. For an example, rise can be used. Rise, climb, uprise, appreciation, upward. It can be served, it can be climbed, it can be mined. Examiner sees that whether we were able to use the multiple word for a single condition or not. If we talk about the antonyms, so now what I want to talk about? If we talk about the antonyms, decrease is the word that we have used since the childhood for something that is going down. Examiner sees that whether we were able to write decrease, decline, deterioration, depreciation, downward. So these all words are the words that can be used in one similar condition. So variety of words in a similar condition, examiner tries to seize that whether that similar condition. Examiner sees that whether the students were good in their synonyms. Simple as that. Synonyms, whether the students were good in using the antonyms. Antonyms, for an example, examiner sees that whether the students were good in using. Number two, conditional words. Conditional words, conditioned words. What do you mean by the conditioned words? Look at this. Nowadays in Pakistan, there is an increase in the price of goods and services. I use 7 words to tell public that increase is there in prices of goods and services in Pakistan. If I alternate these 7 words, there is an inflation in Pakistan. If I use only one word inflation, that this one simple word is itself explained. This word, simple word, itself explains that there is an increase in the prices of goods and services. So this word inflation is a condition word that explains a specific condition. For example, I am teaching another word. I am teaching class at this moment. So I'm using 3 words. I'm teaching class now. So this specific word now explains a condition. What is that? Happening, something happening at this moment. It is known as condition word. Examiner sees that how strong we are in using the condition. For example, if we talk about the wind, whenever someone wins, we use a word, the person won by lead. When someone loses, we use a specific word, the person lost by gap. So whenever we talk about a very heavy rain, we use a word or a phrase, we use cats and dogs. So whenever we talk about the condition, certain words explain a very specific condition. For example, if there is a sudden increase in the prices, we say there is a spike. We say speedy increase. We say rapid increase. When there's something goes down in speed, we say drastic. We say dramatic. So these all specific words explain a specific condition. Examiner sees that how strong we are in using the condition words while writing. Number 3, examiner looks into the number of repetitions made by the students. More repetitions means we are having a lesser stock of the words here in our head, here in our back, that we are having lesser vocabulary. Examiner sees that how stronger we are in our spelling. More spelling mistakes means that we are weaker in vocabulary. So in lexical resource, examiner sees and evaluates the student on the basis of the variety of words he is using, means, the synonyms, the antonyms, the prefixes, suffixes, and then he sees that whether we are able to use some condition words, and then whether he sees us that whether we are over repeating things or not, and the spelling that judged by the examiner. In the second marking criterion, what is that? That is a lexical resource. Number 3, the third marking criteria is known as coherence and cohesion. Coherence and cohesion. So now, what do you mean by cohesion? So now, it is coherence and cohesion. So now, what do you mean by coherence? And what do you mean by the cohesion? So now remember, if we talk about the coherence and cohesion, coherence means the logical sequence and the rhythm in our write-up. For an example, when somebody asks us about our name, what is the best answer? My name is Zeeshan Sattar. If somebody asks me about my personal introduction, what should I do? I will first tell him, sir, my name is Zeeshan Sattar. I belong to this place. My qualification is this one. Then I will come on my family, and then I will come on my profession. It is known as building logical sequence of the answer. Same is in the writing. When we will write, first we will introduce something. Then we will explain the thing. Then we will create a conclusion of it. If we are not writing the facts in exam in a logical sequence, it disturbs our coherence. So what do we mean by coherence? Coherence means the consistency as per the logic, consistency in a logic while answering. So consistency, creation of a consistency in a logic while writing, it is known as coherence. And what is cohesion? We should add facts and figures along with the examples, with the ideas or the argument that what we are writing in exam. For example, if we will not write incomplete, if we will not explain things incomplete, what will happen? This will create confusion. For example, if I say you people that whenever you will move to the Dubai next time, you should try to go by Emirates. So if I stop here, what will happen now? If I stop here, your logical question to me will be, sir, why should I fly by Emirates? Why should I fly by Emirates? So I have left a reason of why with you. So if that means that I have not explained my argument incomplete. So if I now repeat again, whenever you will go to Dubai next time, go by Emirates because Emirates has a very good safety record. So what I'm doing now, I am giving you an argument along with or with the support of a logic. So now this will not leave any Q here. This will not leave any Y here in your mind. If there will be no Y, that means I have completed my side. It is what known as coherent. Examiner wants us to attach facts and figures with our writing, so that with our writing, so that or to avoid any confusion, to avoid any confusion. And then we will explain the things with the fact and figures with the examples. I will avoid the confusion. Definitely, this will be more comprehensive to understand, and examiner will give us the more marks. Okay. So now coherence means the logical sequence, and coherent means attaching fact and figures and the examples with your arguments so that the things could be very complete and clear to the reader. Number 4, the fourth marking criteria is known as task response. What do we mean by the word task response? Task response means answering. Task response means answering in accordance with the requirement only. The requirement only. For an example, listen to me on it. If examiner asks us to write advantages and disadvantages of early age use of computers, what do you mean by this question? This question of advantages and disadvantages of early age use of computer means what? This means advantages and disadvantage of computer use in children. What should we write? We should write each and everything that suits children only. If we write the advantage number 1, ease of hunting jobs, should we expect numbers? Answer is no. If we write advantage, ease of getting an access to digital libraries, should we get the number? Answer is no. Because we are not writing for the kid, we are writing for a person who is of 25 years of age. If we write the advantage, ease of managing office data, what a child has to do with the office data. That means that we have not well understood the classroom. So first we should try to understand what examiner means by. Once we will be understood, once we are clear, then we should write according to the requirement and the parameters of the examiner. We should not try to interpret something from our own side. If he is asking us something to write about the green energy, we should consider only on solar, hydro, wind power. We should not be concerned with the fossil fuels in primarily. Yes, we can use the comparison, but we should not write on the fossil fuels and their extraction. So whatever the question is given to us, we should try to understand it. If he says that how female working is better than males, we should not try to talk about the male working on. We should write all the measures and the aspects in which the female working is better. Try to understand. We have to answer according to the given parameters. We have to answer within the limits that have been set by the examiner. So it is the fourth marking criteria if we talk about their next calculation. My dear students, I'm revising, I'm repeating again. The first marking criteria by the examiner, the first marking basis by the examiner, the first marking base is your grammatic range or grammatical range and accuracy. It is the first marking criteria that we have to work on. The second marking criteria that we need to work on, the second marking criteria is the second marking criteria, like I should take my formatting pen here. that is known as the lexical resource. The lexical resource. And the third marking criteria that I've told you is the coherence and cohesion. And the fourth marking criteria is the task response we should work on. All of the four criteria give us the balance and equal marks. For example, the grammatic range and accuracy will give us 2.25 marks out of 9. 2.25 out of 9. Out of 9 done. If we talk about the lexical resource, this lexical resource will give us again 2.25 out of 9 in writing. And come on, the coherence and cohesion, 2.25 out of 9. And again, the task response will give us 2.25 out of 9. So if we are going to become weaker, we say that no problem, I'm going to repeat the words, and repetition doesn't make any sense to me. If we do like that, I'm telling you, we're going to compromise 2.25 marks of the lexical resource. If we're not working upon the factors and the examples, we are compromising on the coherence and cohesion. Get ready for minus 2.25 marks. If we are not working on the task response, then get ready to get a minus of 2.25 marks for the task response. So every four criteria contain equal weightage of 2.25 marks out of your 9 in total in your writing exam. If I say that I have not worked on, I am not to work on, for example, here I'm writing, if I say that I'm not going to work on, if I will work on the four criteria, that means I'm working upon 2.25 of grammatic range, 2.25 of the vocabulary, then 2.25 marks of coherence, then 2.25 marks of the task response. So now I will be judged out of 9. But if I'm compromising on any one out of them, for example, I say that coherence is not that very important for me, that means I'm going to compromise on 2.25 points. And I will not be evaluated out of 9, then I will be evaluated out of 6.75. If I'm going to compromise on the vocabulary as well, that means that I should be ready to be evaluated out of 4.5 bars. That is the reason people get lower bands in writing, because they do not pull up themselves in all of the four criteria. If somebody wants to take good band, I'm telling you, you have to pull up, push up, and increase his capability in all four grounds. And if he is not doing it, definitely he will be suffering in his overall banding. And if somebody now asks me, sir, what are the common mistakes of the writing exam? So I'm going to answer on the basis of the same criteria that I've written here. But first, I will take your questions, and then I will proceed further to the next thing. So now, what I have explained you, the four marking criteria of IELTS writing exam, either summary, either letter, or it is an essay. Grammatic range and accuracy. Number 2 is the lexical resource. 3 is the coherence cohesion. Number 4 is the task response. I would be very, very happy to answer any question from any of my students. So now, there is a question of the common errors. So, Zeeshan, what are the common errors that we should try to avoid in exam? So now remember, what are the skills required? What are the skills required? These are in front of us. The skills required in front of us. What are the common errors? If for taking good band in writing, grammatic range was compulsory, that means if I am weak in the tenses, that is my first weakness. If I'm weak in present, past, or the future tenses, that is my weakness. Okay? So the weakness is to avoid, move ahead. If we talk about the weaknesses, if we are having the lesser grip upon compound complexing, these are the weaknesses. So चीजों को बढ़ाने से, we are going to make things lengthy. That never means that we are working on the quality. We should be conceptually very clear. If we talk about that we are weak in the vocabulary, that is our weakness. If we are weak in the synonym antonyms, that is our weakness. If we are weak in conditional words or conditional words usage, it is our weakness. If we over repeat, that is weakness. Our spelling, our weakness. If we talk about the inability to build the logical sequence, that is our weakness. We talk about missing facts and figures and examples, that is our weakness. If we talk about writing without requirement, understanding the requirement, that is our weakness. So these all are the weaknesses. So if we talk about the skills, those are on the right hand, the positivities we have. And if we are lacking these all skills, That means these are automatic weaknesses that you need to improve before going to exam, and that will be the simplest answer. If the skills are there, there is a potential. If the skills are not there, those all which you are missing are your weaknesses that you need to improve in your exam, and you should not repeat these all weaknesses in exam if you want to take the good band. Okay. If there's any other question, I would be happy to answer that. And then after that, for tomorrow's class, this introductory class I will be sending today, so that people should take the introductory class of IELTS writing along with the banding criteria, I mean the marking criteria. And then tomorrow I will be going to work on the vocabulary words, which will be 200 or 150. I will type each and every word that will be helpful in your writing exam. And tomorrow's class will be very important as well, along with that. From the day after tomorrow, I will be starting from Wednesday, my first question of the summary exam. I will take 5 classes for summary, and then I will take 5 classes for the essay once I will be done with my vocabulary class and then the grammar class as well. If there is any more question, I'm here to answer. If there is no question, then I will say you bye-bye, and then we'll see you tomorrow, inshallah. सवाल पूछे अगर कोई है तो, किसी का कोई सवाल नहीं है जी। अपना बहुत ख्याल रखिएगा। हैव अ नाइस इवनिंग and see you all tomorrow. Recorded lecture I will try to send you people tonight. आज ही कोशिश करूंगा रात को भिजवा दूं. Once you will be given the recorded lecture,